It's another Tuesday, and I'm here to make you tipsy with tips. In today's edition of Tipsy Tuesday, I'll take you through my post-processing workflow after shooting an event. These are the basic steps I go through after every event shoot. Now, as you're all aware, I use a Nikon camera, and the camera I use, which is the D750, has a dual card system. So anytime I'm shooting, I have a backup of whatever I'm shooting on a second card in the second slot. After a shoot, I take out the card from slot 1 and then put it somewhere in my pocket, either in the small pocket in my jeans, or if I'm wearing a shirt that has a chest pocket, I just put that card in there. I only do this to safeguard one of the cards. So normally I'll leave the second card in my camera and then put it in my bag. Now, what if something happens along the way? Let's say I lose the bag or the camera falls or something. If anything happens to that bag, I still have a copy on the second card, which is in my pocket. That's my philosophy. Just always have a backup just in case the worst happens. When I get home, first thing I do is fire up my MacBook, slot in the SD card, and then copy the files using Capture One. You're all aware, I use Capture One for everything raw processing, from file management to raw processing. Capture One does it best for me. So from Capture One, I copy the files to my working external SSD. Then from that working external SSD, I copy the whole folder to my 2 terabyte backup hard drive. It's not SSD. After doing that backup onto my 2 terabyte external, I go about doing my normal activities, which doesn't involve working on these files, unless, of course, it's an event that requires that I work on the files immediately. Mostly after events, you're exhausted. So once I finish copying this thing, I just go take a shower, find something and eat, maybe watch a movie or something just to get refreshed before working on these files. When I'm ready to work on these files, I just fire up Capture One and then start my culling process. The culling process depends on the kind of events I shot. My first process when culling is deleting out of focus images. Even if I have 2,000 images, the first thing I do is I go through all 2,000 and delete out of focus images first. After deleting the out of focus images, the next step I go through is pick one of the images that has good exposure and then raw process it. After raw processing that image, I copy the attributes, all the adjustments that I apply to it, and then select all the images and then copy that adjustments to all those images so they have the same look and feel. I then go through each image and then adjust it accordingly. Now, not every image will have the same exposure and all sorts of things. So I take my time, go through every image and then adjust it accordingly to have, the specific feel that I want for that specific image. As I do that, I apply star ratings to the images. Capture One has a good rating system. So what I do is 5 stars is for images that I'm going to retouch in Photoshop. Let's say if I shoot a wedding, the exclusives or the bridal preparation, I 5-star those ones because those ones need extra attention. So 5-star means images I'm going to work on further in Photoshop. Then 0 stars is for images that's, I call them mass production, or I don't know how you call it. Let me know. How do you call the images that you don't retouch at all? So when I 1-star it, it means I don't like those images. I can't delete them because if I submit the final images to the client and they're like, how about a picture of my dog kissing one of my cats? So I wouldn't want to lose that image. So when they come back with such a request, I just go through the images that I did not add to their album and then see if I can recover it for them. That's why I don't delete images. I just use the rating system. I still have them there. In case the client requests for them, I'll be able to do that. So 1-star means I don't like that image, but I won't delete it. The images that are 0-star are the ones that I'm going to submit to my client. I know, weird system, but that's what works for me. After starring and then, individually raw processing these images, I then go ahead and then apply color grading to the images that need that kind of adjustment. Some of the images really don't need any further work after raw process because of the way I shoot. After going through and then seeing if I need to color grade some of the images or not, the next step is I export the images. Capture One has a good export system. They call it recipes. Very, very good system. I have a tutorial on how to do that, so I will add the link in the description so you can check it out. I export to different formats. I have one for the full resolution, which is a full JPEG of my raw files that are raw processed. Why do I do that? So that in case the client wants to print any large format, I'll be able to rescale that full JPEG and then send to the client. Secondly, I have a social media format for Instagram or Facebook in case the client wants to post on those things. I have a preset that resizes them to that format. And then I have any other format that the client wants. Some we use for their websites, others for LinkedIn and other stuff. So I have all those resolutions. So I don't submit just one format to my clients. After exporting to the various resolutions and organizing my folder, the next step is upload on Google Drive and then send the link to clients. Most of them want rapid delivery. And the best way I can do that is to upload and then send them the link so they download it from Google Drive. That's just a temporary way of getting the files to them as quickly as possible. Later, I put them on a pen drive and then send a dispatch rider to deliver it to them physically. So this is my workflow after an event shoot. Maybe you should tell me about yours. I can learn something or two. So let me know in the comment section how you go about your post-processing after shooting an event. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up for this video if it has been helpful to you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel because you don't want to miss any episode of Tipsy Tuesday. I hope this has been informative for you and I'd like to thank you for watching.